Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about coronavirus in Sweden. So this project is from the European Union projects and the group that made this slide and the researches are made by Larissa, Fabriella, Natalia, and Yasmin. So in this project we have 4 topics that are: first topic is what is the coronavirus? Second topic is how is the coronavirus in Sweden? The third topic what was the tactic used by Sweden to combat the coronavirus pandemic? And the fourth one is did the tactic used by Sweden work? So, the first topic that is what is the coronavirus? Coronavirus is an infectious disease caused by a newly discovered virus. Most people infected with the coronavirus will experience a mild to moderate respiratory infection and recover without requiring any special treatment. However, older people and those who has an underlying medical problems like cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, chronic respiratory diseases, and cancer are most likely to develop a serious illness. So the second one that is coronavirus in Sweden. The coronavirus pandemic in Sweden is part of the pandemic of COVID-19 caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus 2. The virus was confirmed to have reached Sweden on 31st January of 2020 when a woman returning from Wuhan tested positive. On 26th of February, following outbreaks in Italy and Iran, multiple travel-related clusters appeared in Sweden. Community transmissions was confirmed on March 9th in the Stockholm region. Since then, individuals in every GAN, that means country, have tested positive. The third topic that is what was the method used by Sweden to combat the coronavirus pandemic. In Sweden, there have been no invasive lockdowns to mitigate the spread of the coronavirus. Restaurants and even nightclubs are operating through under guidelines to enforce the social distancing. Schools for students under age of 16 remain open. Large gatherings restricted to a maximum of 50 people for crime from the enforced confinement imposed by entire cities in other parts of Europe. So basically, Sweden took a different turn from all of the countries from the European Union and didn't obligate anyone to stay in quarantine. Instead, they did a voluntary quarantine. So, as you see in the last slide, you saw the tactic that the Sweden government used to combat the coronavirus pandemic. And now you're gonna see if the tactic they used worked. Sweden has largely relied on voluntary social distancing guidelines since the start of the pandemic, including working from home where possible and avoiding public transport. There also has been a ban of gatherings of more than 50 people, restrictions on visiting care homes, and a shift to table only service in bars and restaurants. The government has repeatedly described the pandemic as a marathon, not a sprint, arguing that its measures are designed to last the long term. The unusual strategy has attracted global criticism, with even some of Dr. Tignow's.
Hello, today me and my group are going to talk about friends against the coronavirus. My group is Rafael, Renata, Anthony, and Sarah. Topics: European Economic and Social Committee, European Committee of the Regions, permanent representation to the European Union funded projects in France, negative and positive impact of COVID-19 in France, trade and economy, French measurements against the COVID-19. European Economic and Social Committee. France has 24 representatives on the European Economic and Social Committee. This advisory body, representing employers, workers, and other interest groups, is consulted on proposed laws to get a better idea of the possible changes to work in social situations in member countries. European Committee of the Regions. France has 24 representatives on the European Committee of the Regions, the European Union Assembly of Regional and Local Representatives. This advisory body is consulted on proposed laws to ensure these laws take account of the perspective from each region of the European Union. European Union funded projects in France. The money paid into the European Union budget by France helps fund programs and projects in all European Union countries, like building roads, subsidizing researchers, and protecting the environment. France has donated 1 million masks to Italy and 20 suits. France is also sending customized containers for shelter and medical care to Greece for refugees and migrants at risk of coronavirus through the European Union Civil Protection Mechanism. Negative and positive impact of COVID-19 in France. Negative impacts. The bad things is that a lot of people died, the economy of the country break, and the jobs stop, as well as places like restaurants and barbershops. And a lot of people can get crazy by staying long periods of time at home and working in front of a screen. The positive impacts. The good thing about the COVID-19 in France is that France started to pay more attention and give more value to the health of the planet and the health of human beings, as well as taking care to the environment. Trade and economy. In 2018, the main sectors of the French economy were public administration, defense, education, health and social services, wholesale and retail trade, transport, accommodation and restaurant services, and the activity of the liberal scientific and technical professions, as well as administrative and support services. 59% of French exports go to other European Union countries, 14% to Germany, 8% to Spain, and 7% for Italy and Belgium each. Of exports outside the European Union, 8% go to the United States and 4% go to China. Regarding imports, 69% come to the European Union countries, 18% to Germany, 10% to Belgium, 8% to Netherlands. Among those from third countries, imports from the United States, 5% and China 5% stand out. French measurements against COVID-19. On 2nd May, Olivier Véran announced that the government would seek to extend the health emergency until 24 July. Many measures opposed the 11 May lifting of the lockdown, which had been announced by the president a few weeks later in a televised address to the nation, and said it was premature. 12 March. French President Emmanuel Macron announced on public television that all schools and all universities would close from Monday, 16 March until further notice. The next day, Prime Minister Edouard Philippe banned gatherings of more than 100 people, not including public transport. The following day, closure of all non-essential public places, including restaurants, cafes, cinemas, and nightclubs, effective from that midnight. On 16 March, Macron announced mandatory home confinement for 15 days, starting at noon on 17 March. This was extended twice and ended on 11th May, after a progressive lifting of confinement and as face masks were made available to all citizens. Everyone in public space was required to carry a self-completed declaration known as an attestation de déplacement, déclarator, which started one reasons for being out in public. Without this declaration, individuals could be fined if found engaged in non-essential movement. Initially, it was necessary to carry a paper copy of this declaration, but later, a QR code based on electronic equivalent for smartphones became an option. Most of the requirements of these measures expired on 11th May with the expiration of the general stay-at-home order. However, new requirements subsequently came into effect, limiting the general travel to a range of 100 kilometers from one residence without a permit. The 100-kilometer limitation remained in effect until 2nd of June. Thank you all for watching.
Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about coronavirus in Germany. So here are the three topics. The first one is the importance and influence that Germany has in the European Union. The second is how Germany reacted to the coronavirus at first and what actions Germany took. The third is how Germany moved to contain the new coronavirus and save lives. The first one is the importance and influence that Germany has in the European Union. Germany has a gross domestic product of 3,344 billion euros, making it the largest economy in the European Union. Germany has the largest net contributor to the European Union in 2017. The Federal Republic of Germany paid 13 million euros more to the European Union than received it from founding. The money paid into the European Union budgeted by Germany helps fund programs and projects in all European Union countries, like building roads, subsidizing researches, and protecting the environment.
A less chaotic scenario, however, occurs in Germany. Although more than 5.7 thousand new cases were recorded only on Friday, 27 and 3. The country seems to manage the crisis more efficiently than neighborhoods like Spain, France, and Italy. With more than 42.2 thousand registered cases, Germany accounts for 2,153 against more than 8.1 thousand deaths in Italy, 4,000 in Spain, and 1.6 thousand in France. So what strategies have been adopted by Berlin to slow the new coronavirus pandemic?
How Germany react to the coronavirus at first. So Germany reacted very early when the first cluster of infection. As a result, intensive administration and programs have been prepared by regional government to combat COVID-19.